Wow. It has been a minute. Last time that I was in this room was for my final project. "12-year-old me that gravitated viscerally to music, that's a part of me that's always there. I would start sneaking into the church where my dad was working and no one's around, so I'd turn on the radio and start practicing. That was the beginning for me. Just sitting down, playing drums or picking up a guitar or listening to music now, things that I've always loved. It's the same feeling. My high school had this mentorship program. They encourage you to find an employer in that career field and ask their permission to shadow at their place of employment. So I looked up recording studios and lo and behold, there were a few. And that was kind of the next hook. First time seeing a control room, which at the time seems like a spaceship. Nothing makes any sense. There's all these knobs and buttons and lights. The activity on both sides of the glass, the producer and the engineer doing their job and the band setting up. And they took me under their wing and we just had shared interests, a shared love for creating, recording, making music. But at a certain point, it started to feel like I wanted something else. My younger brother had already joined the Army, and that was something that was very inspiring to me. So I quietly started thinking about a career in the military as well. I had an injury and had a medical discharge a few years into my career, and then found myself back at this place of, what do I do now? How do I find my way back to music? And that's when I started looking into Full Sail. And one thing led to another. We came and toured, and I knew that this was where I wanted to kind of start my life over again. My wife and I found out that we're pregnant, and we're gonna be moving here and starting this new phase in our life. My son was born April 7th. I remember the class because I remember the test that I had to make up. That's a day that's hard to describe. It's the best day in the world. Your whole life changes. When I was about 3 months away from graduation, I got a call from my career development counselor saying that there was an engineer named Josh Goodwin who had reached out to the school, and one of the requirements was to be able to move to Los Angeles upon graduation if something were to develop. Bought a ticket and flew to LA that weekend. I just wanted to strike while the iron was hot and be like on his mind in case something were to happen. Told him I was in town as if I was just passing through. He offered to make a phone call to Record Plant to get me an interview. So I find myself at Record Plant interviewing with Rose Manchurni, and a week or two later, I get a call asking, can you come tomorrow? We're gonna give you a shot. So a year or so into this job as a staff engineer there, Rose pulled me aside and said that Gaga was gonna be booking long-term and wanted to assign me to that session. And that was really the beginning of my relationship with Gaga and her team.
So you just finished the soundtrack. How do you feel? I went high.
We just started to have a rapport where we could discuss the sounds, and it just felt like the same relationship I had with my bandmates when I was in college. I went on the road with her, so she would finish her sets around midnight, maybe 1, and then we'd go on the tour bus, and I had a recording rig, and we would write and record ideas till 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes. This is talking about Shallow, Record of the Year, Song of the Year. To have this where it talks about the song itself and my work with LG and Bradley, a huge moment in my career, and then a Father's Day letter from my son. I would keep these things in my journal as like a bookmark, but also just like a grounding refresher of what matters. Julia Michaels and myself wrote all the songs for this movie. It's a movie called Wish. And to see it come to life from storyboards to full final animation was truly an unforgettable experience. And one of my favorites is a song called Knowing What I Know Now. And as drums being my first instrument, I really wanted this song to have a lot of that. I was like, I felt free, like, yeah, why don't I just do lots and lots of drums? So Julia had an idea in the bridge of, what if we speed up and kind of get nuts with drums? And that sparked something in me, and I was like, okay, cool, let's go up 10 BPM. I went over to my drums, played a bunch of like tom fills, and that really just took the song in a direction that it really needed to go. It kind of reignited a passion in me and a love for how would I approach this as a musician on this song? I need to play something. And so it really forced me to dive back into those roots. I love that I've been able to work with so many incredibly talented people, to learn so much, and to be so fortunate to be a part of things that have had impact in the world that mean something to other people.